All right, welcome. All right, so this is a very special SG Daily race we have here today. We actually have, well, great. First off, let's talk about who we actually have featured here on SG Daily on Speed Gaming 4. We have Korek versus Gem, League teammates. Excellent rando players. I think they've been around probably since towards the beginning of rando players. Really good friends. Should be some really nice, friendly competition. We got outline links. This is Pink Link, so certainly two very well-known names within the rando community. And let's talk about the mode. We actually see here it is Crosskeys in Completionist style. So for those of you who may have been seeing maybe some of the recent work in Ladder in this most recent season, Dunka released something called the Completionist, which means, as the namesake might be, we're going to look for all 216 out of 216 items. It is a lot of everything. The good news is, for those of you who may have praised some cross keys, back in your day, maybe currently, because entrance is like the new hot thing. When you get like collection rates like 195, 202, you have great practice for this mode because we are looking, because 195 and 202 isn't even going to be enough. All right, looks like we are, in this case, ready to get started. Or actually, no, we have already started. Very interestingly enough, both Korek and Gem starting at Link's house. Maybe not necessarily the most expected starts. Certainly for Korek, at least recently it has been. But for Gem, we might be seeing Gem taking maybe a page out of Korek's book here. Yeah, and so one of the reasons, at least what coworker said before, in order to try and get over here, it actually looks like, ooh. Speaking of, we spot a shovel here on a floating island. That's probably one of Gem's best items in the entire game, because, well, once anybody has a shovel, you can get, in theory, infinite resources. Gem's luck with the shovel might be a little bit better. Okay, and right, as we're actually watching kind of Gem and Korek take a little bit more divergence, we actually can see that instead of us holding right and up everywhere we go, we are actually seeing dash everywhere we go, which is an amazing quality of life improvement. So it's not necessarily part of the completionist mode in this particular case, but it's part of the setting that we actually have today, and maybe, a little precursor to the world of Rando in 2024. We actually are starting with pseudo boots, which means we have all of the speed benefits of regular boots, just not without the logic, right? So that means you can't knock things off the torch, you can't bonk over major pits, for example, like you can't get into mire without actually the real boots or the hook shot. You can't get bonk rocks, for example. But everything else you can basically do. They want to go fast. You can do spin speed. You can do hook speed. You can obviously still dash. You can item dash if you want. So those are certainly all like the really nice things. We also kind of see maybe a slightly bit of a drawback with starting with fast speed. You don't have a sword necessarily to... Oh my god, Korek. Okay, alright, Korek has made it past the guards. No shield, no sword means that we're going to have to be a bit more careful. With great speed comes great responsibility here. All right. Oh, okay. Well, I think Korek had probably had spotted this a little bit earlier. That is a mirror, by the way, on Lumberjack, which is insane high value here. Or, well, I mean, in general, like mirror is definitely one of the best items in the game, regardless of mode, especially for cross keys. That is probably one of the top items that you want. Some people, some ghosts even, via the author Shady Force, would consider the mode to be playable once in this case you have the mirror. Now, pseudo boots in this case do kind of mitigate some of like I would say the anxiety or the necessity to get boots, real boots super early on because you can move fast. Speaking of boots, we actually define mire here in Kakariko as well. So that, again, that's something that, well, Korek doesn't really have anything to his name at this point in order to be able to do anything in Mire, but we certainly still can't get in without necessarily any type of, like, the hookshot or the boots, let alone we actually need some sort of weapon. Meanwhile, though, Gem has actually found his way up to Death Mountain. This is actually one of the, maybe outside of Kakariko, it's also one of probably the densest areas in terms of locations or entrances, certainly. But certainly, of course, with entrances and whatnot, has a much higher chance of being able to get some really nice items as well. And of course, with many choices, what do we get more? Be getting more choices. Always going to be one of those decisions whether or not you want to follow connectors and maybe have it potentially take you elsewhere versus maybe staying in like the same area and being able to explore a bit more locally. Meanwhile, though, Korik I think has a really nice early start so far. We had money, we got the mirror, we had a single bomb from the 50-50 bushes earlier near the Bombable Hut, and we have found Paradox. And he was lucky enough to actually have some money to go buy some more bombs from the shop, so super, super nice. And of course, so Bomb Mini Moldorm has not always been the most pleasant of experiences for anybody. Hopefully in this case Kower can at least get a couple of them to land, but we've got 5 more items here, and he can check one of the other connectors. Looks like actually Gem's gonna be probably joining him relatively shortly, assuming he lives. Oh, okay, well, Mini Moldorm. oh my god. Alright. Oh my gosh, though, what a nice blessing. Maybe not necessarily out of the realm of expectation. A sword is super nice, but also looks like it's one of the probably the best permanent weapons you can actually get, especially in this cave. I guess I spoke too soon on Gem's side. We are not maybe gonna quite go into the rest of Kakariko. He's looking like he's following more connectors. But that 50 rupees, especially early on, we always talk about early resources being very valuable. That 50 rupees is actually going to be an extreme benefit, actually much, much more so than maybe the gem might expect, because we kind of actually saw what Korek did earlier in Paradox. He uses one bomb to bomb open the bomb shop there, and then being able to get to the rest of Paradox using those bombs. Gem had literally nothing to his name. He didn't have a bomb, he didn't have money, but now he's coming in here with one bomb and 51 rupees. He's gonna be able to do exactly what Korik did, and be able to at least pick up that sword. Alright, but speaking of though, unless Gem finds a little bit more extra cash in this area, it does not look like he's going to be able to afford the small key to GT from the bottle vendor. And of course, he hasn't quite been over to at least like the lumberjack drop down the inside in order to go claim that mirror. Oh, actually, that's a great point. Oh, I forgot that Korik actually sequence broke it with the mirror that he had in order to get to at least the back of Paradox Cave. So never mind about that getting that extra sword, at least early on Gem's side, because we're gonna have to go find another entrance somewhere to the side of Paradox. Ooh, alright, so Gem looking like he wants to potentially save a little bit of time, save his bomb. Not quite in order to be able to get the full hover. We do have real boots apparently on his side. So, as part of course, a team, we all should hover every day. Very glad to see him living up to his namesake. But this is actually going to be pretty interesting, man. I mean, certainly the mirror is one of those items that can make a gigantic amount of difference for, well, basically any part of the route, but especially this one. Korik, at least compared to Gem, is going to have a nice early advantage. One, certainly because he has the mirror, and he's got the sword, but also two, like he has a sword. He can basically use the pseudo boosts at least to their fullest potential, and being able to go like dash and kill everything, gonna be able to move much faster. Not of course mention in this case all of the no more death warping for Korik. Gonna be able to just mirror out of everything. I mean, Gem's not certainly in a bad position or anything, because he only still has 3 hearts, and death warping out of anywhere on 3 hearts is gonna be, it's not gonna get any faster, but it's definitely not gonna be as fast as being able to use the mirror. Alright, looks like we are going to see. Okay, so Korik at this point is going to maybe retrace a little bit of Gem steps, looks like. Oh no, never mind, we're in we're going to get Dark Cross. Okay, Korik might die. That is kind of dangerous. We got a full magic drop from somewhere. Maybe one of the prize packs. But yeah, Korik is certainly hoping in this case that he is going to be able to make it into at least